Comes to buying a luxury home, this one thing can save you tens of thousands of dollars, even over six figures. We're talking about home inspection, why it's even more critical in getting a full and complete home inspection when you're buying a luxury home. Why? A lot of the components are complex, complicated, and very expensive. I'm gonna share a couple stories with you for buyers that I've recently worked with this year on $1 million+ homes. The first one was in the Broadmoor area, built in the 90s, looked great, they had remodeled, looked shiny and new. They decided to do a full inspection, sewer line, regular home inspection, radon, the works. We got through and we found that a lot of things weren't permitted, like the heating and air conditioning system, the hot tub they'd put on there was not permitted. So the sellers really wanted to sell and the buyers still liked the property. They ended up getting, oh, not to mention the deck. The deck was rotting out and it was a huge deck. To rebuild that deck would probably be around $40,000. So by the time I was able to get in and to do the negotiations, we already negotiated off the price. And in addition to a lower price, I was able to negotiate almost $40,000 in repairs and credits for that buyer because they did take our advice and got a home inspection. On a regular sales price home, if it's newer, sometimes, you can get away with it, but I never recommend that because even with new construction, we advise buyers get home inspections. So again, that was a home that we just sold in the Broadmoor to one of our buyers. Luxury home, and now they've got a pretty much a brand new deck. The seller went in and permitted the furnace, the AC, and the water heater. They had some multiple fireplaces. Some of them needed repair, some of them needed adjusting and cleaning. All that got done. So when they move in, they were perfectly comfortable knowing that everything was a-okay. Second story, working with this wonderful client from out of town, wanted to buy a mountain luxury property in the Manitou area. And it's kind of remote where most of those homes are on well and septic. And the buyer wasn't sure they really wanted to get a home inspection, but I really insisted. And they did a full home inspection. They tested everything and they had the septic system inspected. Well, there was a lot of little things that needed to be done that we got negotiated, but the big one was the septic system. It showed there was like something minor and the listing agent kept pressing saying, oh, there's nothing wrong with it. It's probably just a minor fix. We're not gonna do much. The seller's not gonna do much, maybe $5,000. And I said, no, that's not gonna work. So we had a professional go out that specializes in septic systems in that neighborhood. They came back, they found out that the whole septic system needed to be replaced. And so those, depending on the certain codes, have to be updated, and some of those up in the mountains have to be engineered. Well, it turns out, yep, that's what happened in this case. It was to code when the home was built over 10 years ago, but now because of the new requirements for El Paso County's new septic system use and the capacity, they've now changed those codes and standards for the health department, and the new septic system is over $70,000. Good news is we were able to close quickly because both parties wanted to close quickly, but the seller escrowed the amount of the repairs plus some additional funds to make sure there's no cost overrun. So right there, those are two stories that happened just this year in 2025. Why it is super critical that you work with a very good real estate agent that understands the luxury market, that understands negotiating repairs and inspections, and that can guide you, that knows local contractors, vendors, and inspectors. So if you're considering purchasing a luxury home, please reach out to me. I've been selling luxury homes for over 20 years here in the Colorado Springs region, and I'm happy to help out. So if you have any comments or questions, feel free to put them in the DMs below. Otherwise, keep watching and we'll keep you updated.